I know most people hate Sonic Forces, so the title of this video is surprising, I'm sure, but before I open up that whole can of worms, I want to say that I tweeted out if I was still quarantined in January that I would do an entire Sonic marathon this month, and well, I'm still quarantined, so for the entire month of January, I'm going to be making some Sonic videos, and there's 9 videos for me to make this month, so go ahead and comment some Sonic games for me to look at, and I'll listen to them. And if you're not a big fan of Sonic, I'm sure you have some other videos you can catch up on Tooterp this month. So obviously, Sonic Forces has a lot of criticism that I don't necessarily agree with, but before I get into all that, I want to talk about my thoughts as I played the game. Going into it, all I knew was that it was supposedly horrible and that I'm not a huge Sonic fan, but I have played Sonic ever since I was a kid and enjoyed most of the games. Though most of the games I played were older like the originals, I think the newest mainline Sonic game I've played before this point was Sonic and the Secret Rings, so keep that in mind going into this. I also got this game and many other Sonic games on sale in a big ol' Steam bundle a while back, so I don't know how much it normally costs, but I think I ended up paying like $5 personally. But anyway, now that we've gotten all the plot build up for the video out of the way, let's take a look at the game. None of the intro screens have any audio sounds, by the way, including the Sega logo, and as someone who has frequent headphone problems, this game is off to a sour start. The story for this game isn't great, but I mean, this is a Sonic game, so if you bought this game expecting some Quentin Tarantino level writing, I don't know what to tell you. Basically, the plot is Eggman was like, I hate Sonic, yada yada yada, I'm going to take over the world. Except this time, he actually killed Sonic. Like, for real. And a few months after the death of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic's gang of friends plotted about how to form a rebellion, which is where you come in as a survivor. The character customization is the main gimmick of this game, and personally, I'm not really into that. I just got one good outfit and stuck with it for the whole game pretty much, but it's a really cool concept and fleshed out really well. It seems pretty much impossible to make an OC that isn't ugly, but you unlock a lot of cool outfits to cover them up as you play. Not to mention, how many Sonic fans do you think want to make their own Sonic OC? Well, now they can. Also, in the story, most of the villains and heroes from other Sonic games show up also, which is pretty cool, I guess. Oh, and these weird OC models that are in the background sometimes are like the modern day equivalent to the little animal sprites from the Genesis games, I guess, but honestly, I prefer those. Also, I don't know if it's just me or something I'm doing wrong, but a lot of the cutscenes look pre-rendered, which sucks on PC because it looks worse than the regular game. Also, every now and then you can see straight up pixels on some of the character outlines, but maybe that's just some setting I have wrong, though I did turn everything to max. Eventually, you end up finding out that Sonic isn't actually dead, but he was just being tortured for the past several months he wasn't around, but luckily he's a video game character and a company mascot, so he comes out of it feeling good as new. I've seen some complaints that the story takes itself too seriously with all of the realistic-ish war tones, but again, I don't see why you're complaining about story in a Sonic game to begin with. I actually paid attention to the entire story because there wasn't much of it and I really didn't think it was that bad at all, though sometimes the quotes are a little ridiculous. For example, some character goes, "This is bad," and Knuckles goes, "Of course this is bad. It's war." What is this, the Iliad? So that's how the story and intro go for the most part, and if you're like me and don't really care much about the, the story of a Sonic game, then you probably care about the gameplay, which it's time to look into. And if you don't care about the gameplay the most in a Sonic game, then you're wrong. One of the first things I noticed in the first level is the lack of camera controls. This means either one of two things. The game is horrible or the auto camera is good, and luckily I had no camera trouble the entire game, which I'm normally really picky about. There are 3 main types of levels in this game, being the regular quote-unquote boost Sonic mode, the 2D style Sonic levels where you play as the classic Sonic, which I think is really cool to be honest, and lastly you have the avatar levels, which are kinda like a mix between the two, but it's mostly 3D styled. Your avatar also has a weapon which Sonic does not, and while you can unlock more of them, I stuck with the default weapon the entire game because it's overpowered and I don't know what else I could possibly even want. So getting into the first level, which is a normal Sonic level, it's of course Green Hill Zone, because every good Sonic game needs at least one Green Hill Zone. Sonic does have a boost button, by the way, instead of a weapon, which is pretty cool because you're invulnerable, a lot like the Super Metroid boost. As you get through the first level, Green Hill Zone starts to become more abandoned and sandy. I guess you could say Green Hill Zone is looking a lot more like Sand Hill Zone. This joke was in the game, by the way. I didn't even make it up, so before you leave your comments, just keep that in mind. This was written by a professional writer, guys.
Green Hill's looking a lot more like Sand Hill right now.
Despite that corny joke that a lot of negative reviews like to single out though, just like most other games, there are good jokes too. But going back to the gameplay, there was actually a really nice variety of level design in all the levels for this game. Of course, each of the 3 level types will play differently, but they actually did a really good job of making unique levels within the 3 styles as well. Gameplay is something that's hard to describe, of course, but just look how amazing it looks and just be honest with yourself. The graphics, of course, are helping the game a lot, and the variety in level design is a nice complement to that. The music is also peak Sonic music, with there being 90s lyric songs during the 3D Sonic segments and classic background music for the 2D sections. Even in terms of 2D Sonic levels, I was surprised how many alternate and extra routes were added to the levels, especially considering the amount of hate this game gets, not to mention how amazing the levels look. A lot of the negative reviews that I saw mostly seemed to complain about some core Sonic concepts more than Sonic Forces itself. For example, a big complaint is how the game kind of plays itself, but like that's what 3D Sonic games are, and some people just don't like that, which is fine. But you can't take your dislike for 3D Sonic games and blame it all on Sonic Forces. Granted, Sonic Forces does have a little bit of momentum issues, especially in some of the 2D sections, but it's not enough to ruin the game, and the checkpoints are so generous that you won't get stuck anywhere for more than like a minute or two, even if you are getting messed up by momentum. Though I do think it's hilarious that every single negative review complained that this game is both too easy and too frustrating with its level design. I do agree the game is a little bit too easy, as I beat the main story and all the secret levels in just over 3 hours, but the game is for kids. I could see myself taking longer if I was just a kid who was a Sonic fan, but I was also playing this game fast due to this video, which feels like I should mention just to be fair. But in terms of the time I spent playing the game, it seems like most of it was actually spent on facing the game's bosses, which are considered to be the highlight of this game as opposed to the game's levels. I will be honest, I did prefer the levels to the bosses personally, but I still like the bosses a lot. The first boss is actually in the 4th level of the game, where you go to the Death Egg. I thought it was a little early for all that, but that's where Sonic has been getting tortured, so we gotta save the man. The boss in this level is Zavok from Sonic Lost World, which I've also heard is bad, but after this game I need to go check out myself. The entire fight is really easy, as it should be for the first boss, but I thought it was pretty fun and creative. Also, it's kind of funny that in the stage before a boss fight, sometimes the boss is just chilling at the end of the stage when you finish it, and you both just kind of like sit there looking for each other for a minute, which is like, I don't know, kind of awkward, I guess. The next boss battle you fight is against Infinite, who is the main protagonist of the game other than Eggman. This fight is extremely cool, as you have to dodge things while also dodging the red stuff the boss throws at you that sends you into another dimension. You're also running on top of a giant snake, which honestly deserves the name Infinite more than the boss, considering it, well, it is. The third boss is fought by classic Sonic in 2D form, and I mean, what can I say? This is a classic 2D Sonic boss battle with the classic twist of having the boss have a little something extra waiting for the Sonic fight. In my opinion, the 2D Sonic stages are fun and all, but what really carries them is how amazing they look. This is literally what every single kid who played the original Sonic wanted to see one day, and I'm not gonna let random people on the internet convince me this is bad. You fight Infinite again with your avatar as well, and this fight is kinda hard until you get the hang of it, which is exactly how a boss fight should be. Metal Sonic also shows up in the next boss fight on a bridge, which is pretty cool, I guess, but a lot of the bosses are similar for the most part, so it's hard for me to come up with more things to say here, though I guess this was one of the harder bosses in the game. Infinite then shows up for a third and final time for a Metal Sonic-like fight, and right before his health is gone, he starts capping and telling Sonic that his friends are an illusion, only to get hit with a team attack right after. Kinda corny, but this is Sonic, like, have you guys played the other Sonic games? The final boss is against a giant Eggman robot, as it should be, but now it's time I use my big YouTube game reviewer brain and point out how ridiculous it is that Eggman has enough time to make all these giant robots. Story inconsistency. Time to post on Reddit for my karma. Anyway, the fight has 3 stages, and it's honestly a really good final battle to end the game on overall, but the first stage was the hardest out of the 3 in my opinion, which is kind of annoying, but whatever, I don't think that really matters in the grand scheme of things. Also, in the final cutscene, your main character Naruto runs, but you cannot skip the credits, which is a video game trope that really needs to stop. So there were 30 levels in the main story, along with there being 6 secret levels that I beat, and I think there's 7 extra levels that I just couldn't be asked to deal with, but there is free DLC for this game called Episode Shadow that actually adds some more levels into the game. The reason I bring this up is because the main, most valid complaint I've seen about the game is that there isn't very much playtime, so it's not worth the price. Well, there's actually a decent amount of free DLC for this game. Most of it is just character customization stuff, but the best DLC stuff is the Super Sonic Pack and the Shadow Pack. The Super Sonic Pack allows you to play as Super Sonic on every level, which is honestly kinda cool, but this seems like an endgame incentive, and I think it would be a lot cooler if you just unlocked this after beating the game or something, especially considering the DLC's free. Episode Shadow DLC also allows you to play as Shadow in every level, along with adding 3 levels to the game. I thought there would be more levels, and the 3 levels that are there are very fun, but it's free DLC, so what can you really expect? Episode Shadow is a prequel to the main story that basically says the entire reason Infinite was a bad guy in this game was because Shadow ran up on him and murked him in one of Eggman's bases, ransacked the place while Infinite was there, and then proceeded to call Infinite weak. So Infinite decided to rage and take over the world, so thanks Shadow for causing this game. I know the DLC doesn't add too much extra extra to the game, but because it's free, I feel like it needed to be brought up. There are also these SOS missions that show up on levels you've already beaten, which are like little missions, kinda like the Mario Galaxy comments I suppose, but they're kinda boring and only give you avatar stuff, so I didn't do them. Overall, I understand this game is kinda lacking in terms of raw content, but for what this game is, it is really good. All of the levels look stunningly beautiful, and the gameplay just seems like regular Sonic gameplay to me, though I'm not the biggest Sonic fan on the planet. I think what happened with this game is one or two people complained before anyone else got a chance to really make their own thoughts on the game, which caused everyone to bandwagon, but like, this really isn't bad. Sonic 06 is bad because it's broken, and so is Sonic Boom, but like, this game isn't even broken. I had one singular glitch the entire playthrough where the enemies didn't spawn, so I got soft locked, but it was a secret stage that took 1 minute total to complete, and the glitch never happened again, so it's almost not even worth mentioning. But while the story might not be great, and its reputation is slandered, I really think this game is at the very least worth a try to any Sonic fan or anyone even just interested in playing a Sonic game, because it is really good. Well, that was Sonic Forces, which I surprisingly enjoyed a lot, but I don't really know which Sonic thing I'm doing a video on next, so please leave a comment down below telling me what you think I should make a Sonic video on next.
Together we can show the world